President Donald Trump's Senate impeachment trial continued Tuesday as his defense team capped off both sides of opening arguments, beginning at 1 p.m. White House counsel Pat Cipollone is spearheading Trump's team, which also includes the president's personal lawyer, Jay Sekulow. After the defense rested their case, Sen. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said that senators will have 16 hours spread out between Wednesday and Thursday to submit written questions to both sides. Scroll down to watch CSPAN's video of the trial, and see Insider's coverage below. Visit Business Insider's homepage for more stories. President Donald Trump's Senate impeachment trial continued Tuesday as his defense team capped off their opening arguments. White House counsel Pat Cipollone is spearheading Trump's team, which also includes the president's personal lawyer, Jay Sekulow. On Monday, other members of Trump's defense team including former Whitewater independent counsel Ken Starr, Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi, and Trump attorney Eric Hirschman also assisted in presenting arguments before the Senate. The House of Representatives impeached Trump last month for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Both charges related to his efforts to coerce Ukraine into launching politically motivated investigations targeting former Vice President Joe Biden, a 2020 Democratic frontrunner, his son Hunter, and the Democratic Party as a whole. While doing so, the president withheld $391 million in vital military aid to Ukraine, as well as a White House meeting that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky desperately sought and still hasn't gotten. On Monday, the defense's arguments mainly focused on attacking Hunter's credibility with false and misleading claims that he engaged in corrupt activity in Ukraine, which formed the basis of Trump's request. On Monday and Tuesday, Trump's defense team disputed the need for the Senate to call former National Security Advisor John Bolton to testify in the trial after the New York Times reported on the unpublished manuscript of his memoir, in which Bolton wrote that Trump personally told him he would withhold Ukraine's military aid until Zelensky agreed to deliver politically motivated investigations targeting the Bidens. After the defense rested their case, Sen. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said that senators will have 16 hours spread out between Wednesday and Thursday to submit written questions to the defense team and the 7 House impeachment managers who prosecuted the case against Trump. The Senate will then decide whether to subpoena additional documents or witness testimony, which requires a 51-vote majority. C-SPAN and TV networks are relying on the Senate's live feed of the trial, and C-SPAN is airing the trial at cspan.org. You can watch the trial here. Scroll down for Insider's live coverage of the hearing. Pat Cipollone asked senators not to overturn the 2016 election as he wraps up the president's defense photo. Pat Cipollone source screenshot C-SPAN is. He wrapped up the president's defense. Cipollone told senators that all they need is the Constitution and their common sense to decide the case, arguing that the impeachment articles fall short for the standard of conviction. Cipollone showed the Senate multiple clips of current Democratic members of Congress arguing against Bill Clinton's impeachment and Senate conviction. Like his colleagues, Cipollone urged the Senate not to overturn the 2016 election and tear up the ballots of the American people. Fact check: impeachment and conviction do not, in fact, overturn an election. If Trump were removed from office, his vice president and 2016 running mate Mike Pence would become president, not 2016 Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton or the third in line to the Constitution, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In discussing the striking revelations from John Bolton's book, Sekulow actually made the case for calling Bolton as a witness photo. Jay Sekulow source screenshot via C_SPAN on Sunday. The New York Times reported about the unpublished manuscript of former National Security Advisor John Bolton's upcoming book. Bolton claims in the book that Trump personally told him he would withhold Ukraine's military aid until Zelensky agreed to deliver politically motivated investigations targeting the Bidens. The book directly undercuts the defense's argument that there are no first-hand witnesses who can say Trump himself confirmed a quid pro quo with Ukraine, military aid in exchange for political favors. And while Cipollone tried to discredit Bolton's reported manuscript as irrelevant, he instead made the case for why the Senate should subpoena Bolton and get to the bottom of it. Cipollone referred to Bolton's book as an unpublished manuscript that some reporters maybe have an idea of what it says. "I don't know if it's evidence, I don't know what you'd call it, I'd call it inadmissible." Of course, if Cipollone isn't sure what the book says and doesn't know if it's proper evidence, the best way to find out would be for the Senate to vote to call Bolton to testify. Trump attorney Jay Cipollone says, "I don't know if you would call allegation in John Bolton manuscript report evidence. I don't know what you'd call that. I'd call it inadmissible, but that's what it is." https://t.co/7ksock7cpic.twitter.com/pk9geopers, ABC News, at ABC, January 28, 2020. Cipollone argued it was within the president's prerogative to withhold the aid over concerns of other countries not paying enough. Photo, Jay Cipollone. Source screenshot, C-SPAN. Partly defending the decision to withhold aid, Cipollone argued that the administration had a legitimate interest in making sure other countries were contributing their fair share to Ukraine's defense. Fact check. In a now infamous October press conference, Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney also tried to argue that the administration withheld the aid over concerns that Europeans weren't contributing enough to foreign aid for Ukraine, but ended up admitting that they held up the aid until Ukraine investigated a discredited conspiracy theory that Ukraine interfered in the 2016 election. Mulvaney said, "What I found out was that $0 or near $0 for Ukraine in lethal aid. We give them tanks, and they give them pillows." As vocal as the Europeans are about supporting Ukraine, they are really, really stingy when it comes to lethal aid, and they weren't helping Ukraine. To this day they still are now, and the president did not like that. Those were the driving factors. Did he also mention to me in passing the corruption related to the DNC server? Absolutely. No question about that. But that's it, and that's why we held up the money. Cipollone encouraged senators to put themselves in the shoes of the president in weighing the impeachment articles. Photo, Jay Cipollone. Source screenshot, C-SPAN. Cipollone attempted to draw sympathy for the president, arguing in a tangent that Trump was under attack by virtue of the FBI conducting an investigation of his 2016 campaign's contacts with Russia. For years, Trump and his defenders have wrongly claimed that Trump was spied on by the FBI and mistreated by the FISA warrant process. Cipollone name-dropped multiple FBI and DOJ officials who have been frequent boogeymen for Republicans, including former special counsel Robert Mueller, James Comey, agents Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, and DOJ official Bruce Orr and his wife Nellie Orr. Cipollone also argued that it was wrong for the Senate to remove a duly elected president in an election year. Fact check, as multiple outlets including The Washington Post and The New York Times reported in 2018, the FBI did not spy on the campaign as Trump described, but sent an informant to speak to 3 Trump campaign officials, Carter Page, Sam Clovis, and George Papadopoulos, after opening an investigation into the campaign's potentially suspicious connections to Russia. Many Republicans have tried to argue it's wrong to remove a president during an election year. But the central allegation behind the abuse of power charge is that Trump abused his office by asking a foreign government to investigate the Bidens in an effort to bolster his own re-election prospects in 2020. Patrick Philbin, deputy counsel to the president, opened up the day's arguments by refuting the Democrats' interpretation of abuse of power. Photo, Patrick Philbin. Source screenshot, C-SPAN. Philbin argued that the manager's definition of abuse of power is antithetical to the framers' intent, and said the House did not specify a clear offense when charging Trump with abuse of power. In his presentation, Philbin accused managers of impeaching based on their subjective, malleable view of the president's conduct and not the objective facts, saying that the House was committing an offense of maladministration, which the framers of the Constitution rejected. He argued that Democrats impeached Trump on perfectly lawful action within his purview over U.S. foreign policy, but want to make it impeachable based on what's in the president's head, calling the articles fundamentally undemocratic. Philbin charged that House Democrats erred in impeaching Trump based on what they thought his motives were instead of objective fact. Fact-checked. While the president does have the ability to set foreign policy objectives, the House's articles charge that it is an impeachable abuse of power for the president to leverage U.S. foreign policy tools, like military aid, for his own personal political gain and not to advance national security interests. Democrats have argued that Trump's move to block the aid undermined rather than bolstered U.S. national interests. Ukraine is highly dependent on American military aid to defend itself from incursions from Russia. Ukraine has been engaged in a hot war with Russia, a U.S. adversary, since 2014, when Russia invaded and annexed the peninsula of Crimea, a contested territory. Regardless of his motives, Democrats say that the action asking a foreign government for material campaign aid is not only unprecedented from a U.S. president, but it could even violate campaign finance laws against soliciting campaign contributions or help from foreign nationals. CNN reported Tuesday morning that Cipollone and Cipollone are expected to make brief closing arguments starting this afternoon at 1 p.m., noting that the schedule could shift some. Photo: President Donald Trump's personal attorney Jay Cipollone, center, stands with his son, Jordan Cipollone, left, and White House counsel Pat Cipollone, while arriving at the Capitol in Washington during the impeachment trial of President Donald Trump on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, Saturday, Jan. 25, 2020. AP photo, Julio Cortez, source Associated Press. Let's block ads. Why?